miss the feeling.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Perfita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Eric Gaylord is back, but where has he been?
I read on the internet that guy was abducted by aliens.
Rated
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hello and welcome to Hour 1 of the Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Do not be confused. This is not the Roger Cador Show, nor is this special correspondent Erin Fullbright. It is Erin Fullbright, but not in that role. We start today's show. Oh, first of all, here's hoping that your weekend was a good one. If not, well, as I say every Monday, right about this time of the day, good Lord willing, you'll still be here when the next one comes our way, and you can try it all over again. Erin Fullbright, for those of you that don't know, aside from being our special correspondent, has a day job. She is the recruitment coordinator for Court-Appointed Special Advocates, also known by the acronym CASA. Erin, how are you and how have you been?
Doing as best as I can in quarantine.
I understand.
Thank you for having me.
So for those folks out there that don't know, what is a CASA?
So CASA, like you said, we're court-appointed special advocates. We're volunteers that work with abused and neglected children that are in foster care. So they get assigned by the judge, and you're just the voice for the child in court and for the court system. So you're getting to know them, and you're reporting back to the judge so that they have all the information that they could have to make, or that they can have to make the best decision for that child.
So who's eligible to be a court-appointed special advocate for a child?
Well, as long as you have a passion to want to help children and you're over 21 years of age. There's no special background. Outside of that, we have volunteers from all walks of life. We train you to do this work. And again, just like school, you're never going to get enough training until you're actually in that field.
Right.
But you have advocate supervisors, our staff that's with you every step of the way. So you're never alone in the process. So you don't have to be like, well, I'm not a lawyer, or I don't know the system.
Right.
You learn it, and you have someone there to help you. And you're really just giving the information from the child and what you see needs to be provided for them so that they're in a safe environment.
Typically, when we hear court, we hear kids, we hear foster care, a lot of people may be thinking, okay, what kind of special skills do I have to possess to step up into this role? What sort of skills do you need?
Good communication skills. You do write court reports, but you don't have to be proficient in writing and a journalist or anything like that, or writing papers. You're really just writing your thoughts. And again, those advocate supervisors are there for you to prepare it for the judge. But really communication skills and people skills, because you're getting to know the child. So being able to talk to them, talk to the foster parents, if the parents are in the child's life, the family members that are there, teachers, all of that. And again, just a passion to want to help these children and see them in a safe environment.
Ever since in my broadcast career, I've worked with CASA. Traditionally, the largest percentage of these kids that we're talking about are African American kids. Is that percentage still the same? And what percentage of CASAs are African American?
Yes, as of right now, I think it's about 78% still of African American children that we are serving.
Okay.
And our volunteers, we only have 47% of our volunteers are African American right now. And we do, and that's why we are doing a big push for African American volunteers. We want our children to be represented all around and to have someone that matches their skill. Not to say that anybody else could be a great voice for them, but we do want them to have someone that looks like them or can understand too, that they can relate to.
And obviously there are some benefits in that regard, because with everything that our country's going through right now, African American kids need to engage in some deep, hard-hitting discussions. And many times I've felt a part of the human experience is we tend to relate easier to people that look like we do.
Right. And I'm sure there's difficult questions that some of, especially our teens, that we are serving, because we serve up to age 18 when you age out of foster care. So our older teens, may have some questions, and their CASA becomes that person that they can talk to about anything in life, regardless of who they are. You develop that relationship, and it carries on after they've aged out of foster care or they find their permanent home and we're no longer on the case. Those relationships carry on, so they're going to have those difficult questions and want to be able to talk.
So a person right now saying, I've heard that acronym my whole life, and I now know that African American kids make up the bulk of the kids that are being served, and at the same time, African American adults are underrepresented in helping these kids. If they step up to the plate and become a court-appointed special advocate, what are some of the benefits that they'll receive from this experience?
Well, you're changing a child's life. So knowing that you're making a difference in your community through that next generation coming up. And by finding them that safe permanent home, our main goal is to find them a safe permanent home so that they're out of foster care, they have that home that they'll be in forever. You're helping stop a cycle possibly of continuing with the foster care, and all that comes with it, with law and all of that, criminal backgrounds, or going just in that cycle. So you're helping change that course and change that story for that child, and they feel that they have someone that is there for them. If during this difficult time maybe they felt alone because things are happening, their parents aren't there and they're being moved from foster home to foster home. So you're helping give them that one person they can talk to and they can trust, but also finding them that safe permanent home.
So how has COVID-19 affected CASA's operations?
So we're still operating. We haven't skipped a beat. We are working from home, the majority of our staff. Our CASA volunteers, so we require our volunteers to see their child at least once a month. But since COVID-19 and quarantine, we haven't physically seen the children, but we've done FaceTime, any kind of other video chatting. There's been, text calling more often, so they're talking to the child more often than the people, the foster parents or whoever's in the child's in care of. So we're still keeping contact, all of that. Our supervisors are still in contact with our volunteers every day. We are doing court. I think that started maybe at the end of May when we went into the phase 2 as a state. They did start having court, but it was through Zoom. So now we're having court through Zoom. We've still been recruiting volunteers, so you can still sign up, but you can do it from the comfort of your home now because we've moved to online. So our orientations are online, our trainings are online. And we just did a swearing in of volunteers the beginning of this month. online with Judge Gail Grover. So that was our first time doing a virtual swearing in, but we were able to bring in, I think it was 14 new volunteers that came through that one. So they're ready to take on a case when there's one available.
Fantastic. So how do the kids benefit from all of this, Erin?
Again, they have that voice that is speaking up. You know, caseworkers are overworked. Lawyers are overworked.
Right.
They have more than one case, so they can't spend that time. And our volunteers only have one case at a time. So that child has someone that is getting all those details to relay to the judge or the court or even to the lawyers, you know, maybe something they've missed or they're not seeing.
Right.
And again, you build that relationship as a volunteer with that child, so they're going to tell you more than they're telling that caseworker and that lawyer, or even their foster parents if something is going on at school or anything like that. Our volunteers are working with, if there's visitation with the family, like the parents are working to be reunified and they have to do some steps with the court, our CASAs are there to make sure those are going smoothly. So we're also helping provide services that child may need and that family may need to make sure that the reunification happens and that it's a success and that they can stay with their family. I mean, that's our main goal, is to keep them with their family if possible.
We were talking earlier about COVID-19 and how it's affected the operations of CASA. You all have a big fundraiser every year. Is that being affected, and to what degree, by COVID-19?
Yes, so we normally have, this would have been our 26th annual CASAs for CASA.
Wow.
We would have had the Fiesta July 19th at the Renaissance, and then we would have done the Playhouse raffle tickets with the big Playhouse that's in the Mall of Louisiana. But we are not doing that this year out of safety of numbers. We have over 100 people that come, I think close to maybe 300 that come to the Fiesta, so you know it's not safe to have people in tight quarters. So we've moved it to virtual. So we're doing Stay Home for CASA. So we're asking our supporters in the community to stay home for CASA during the period that we would have had our CASAs for CASA. So July 19th through August 16th, I think, is when we're ending. And it's all on our website. But we're asking for people to make donations to CASA so that we can continue our mission. Because everything we would have raised through CASAs for CASA would have come back to the program to help provide training and recruitment for new volunteers, but then also services and supervision for our current volunteers on cases. And again, providing those services for the children and the family, and to make sure our volunteers have everything that they need to best represent the children.
And how can folks find out more about CASA, the services offered, whether they want to step up and be a court-appointed special advocate, or whether they just want to give some financial resources to CASA?
Yes, so you can visit us at CASABR.org. All the information's on there, and there's a graphic at the top of our website that says Stay Home for CASA, so you can click on that and it'll take you to everything for Stay Home at CASA, where you can donate. We'll be posting and sharing stories all through that campaign time on social media, so you can follow us on social media. CASABR is our handle, and Capital Area CASA on Facebook. So just engage with us there, help share. That's the best way to recruitment. Word of mouth is our best recruitment tool, so sharing that. If you make a donation, any amount helps, but then tag 5 friends and ask them to join you in making a donation too, and just help spreading. So that's really how you can make a difference. And then our orientations is the first step to becoming a volunteer. That's on there as well. You can RSVP for one of those, and they're online again, so you can do it from the comfort of your home, and it's about 45 minutes. Our training coordinator does that, so you're able to ask questions too during that call as well.
So typically, is there such a thing as a designated period of time for training before you're ready to be considered a CASA?
So the training is 32 hours. Normally when we do those in person, it's about a 3-week process, but now you can move at your own pace. So there's modules. We do Google Classroom of the online training, so you can go through that as fast as you have time available. You can sit down and do it in one day if you can. But just going through that, once that's complete, then you'll do a post-interview online with our program manager. Again, we asked for a 12-month, I didn't say this, but we asked for a 12-month commitment from our volunteers. We don't want someone else coming in and out of the lives of the children.
Yeah.
So you do that post-interview just to make sure it's a good fit and you are sure that this is something you want to take on before we move on to the swearing in. And you will have an interview before you start the training too, again, to ask any more of those questions that you may have and to make sure it is a good fit. So after you complete that training, you do that post-interview, and then once we have the date for the swearing in with the judge, once you're sworn in, you're good to go, once there's a case available.
Right. CASABR.org. COVID-19 has not diminished the need for court-appointed special advocates, not in the least. And with everything going on in our world today, a lot of you may well feel helpless that you can't do anything to really make a difference with everything that's going on. I can't think of anything better or more impactful than to step up and become a court-appointed special advocate where you can directly impact the life of a child and, for that matter, the future of Louisiana and our country. Erin Fullbright, recruitment coordinator for CASA / special correspondent. Always good to see you. And please keep up the good work on behalf of our kids that so desperately need it, Erin.
Thank you, and thank you for your support always.
You're quite welcome. All right, first a break of Hour 1. We get her done, and we'll move ahead with Hour 1 of the Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. Right where you've got it, here on the Pelican. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Cox Cable is upgrading the signal from the Pelican, but to catch us, you're going to have to tune in now to a new number. Acadiana, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Gramercy, Lutcher. Check your guide for details.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
welcome back to hour one of our Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. For those of you that are HBCU fans, you know we've been talking about all the recent developments in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, particularly as it pertains to the Mideastern Athletic Conference, or the MEAC. Probably aware by now that not only has Florida A&M been accepted as the newest member of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, but Bethune-Cookman now has decided to cast their lot with the SWAC as well. So joining us for a few minutes in this segment is the athletic director of our very own Southern University, A.D. Roman Banks. Mr. A.D., how are you this morning, my friend?
Doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So Bethune-Cookman joining the SWAC. That's a pretty good fit, isn't it?
Say that again. I can barely hear you.
That's a good fit with Bethune-Cookman and joining up the SWAC?
Yeah, I think, I told you the last time to kind of stay tuned. I knew that we were initiating some other people coming into the league, especially try to make it a balanced league with 6 and 6 on the side. And I think that, they obviously a natural rivalry of Florida A&M, and so we know that they definitely have some rivalryships with some of our Alabama schools as well. We all have kind of faced them in the MEAC Challenge, SWAC Challenge before. So,
right.
We thinking that, to get into that market, it's going to be pretty good for the SWAC.
Now, obviously, by adding 2 schools, both of them in the state of Florida, we're going to have to look at some restructuring of the East and the West division of the SWAC.
Yes, sir. That's next on the agenda. We're going to have to, and that's going to be voted on as a conference membership. And so that's going to be interesting, who move over and who stay. Obviously, you're probably going to base it on your other 2 teams on the Texas schools.
Right.
And on the Florida schools. And so we know that'll be opposite territory. So, we're very excited about what can happen.
Not that this is a, quote, competition or anything, but adding FAM and Bethune-Cookman kind of solidifies the SWAC as the nation's premier HBCU, does it not?
Oh, no question about it. I think we are now to the point where our commissioner can wrap up some packages and take it to ESPN or other TV options and start to be able to market our conference as a not just premier black conference, but one of the better conferences in NCAA.
Right.
And so we're excited about that. I mean, every weekend you look up, we probably have a chance where there could be 3 to 4 games that create its own rivalries that can impact over 20,000 people in the stands, and you're talking about even 30 to 50,000. So we're excited about where we are. I think our commissioner is doing a great job strategically in developing that plan to possibly move up to FBS. So I'm excited about the direction we're going in.
How much, Roman, does adding these 2 schools from the state of Florida improve recruiting in that part of the country for the Southwestern Athletic Conference?
Well, it widens our base. And obviously, those 2 schools themselves are very rich in that area, being from there, but, historically have always been able to fight for good student athletes. And obviously, when you look at Southern University, we always have had a great group of athletes coming from the Florida area in various sports that we have on campus. And so I just think to be in the newspaper every day, to be in the media outlets on TV and radio shows in that area,
right,
it's going to do anything, but it's going to improve us tremendously. So I think that, speaking from a Southern brand, but I think I can say that for all the ADs in our conference.
When you look at the fact that Bethune-Cookman years ago was a member of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, seems like they should be able to hit the ground running as far as establishing or reestablishing some old rivalries with members of the SWAC, correct?
Correct, and that's one reason why both schools bring excitement, and Cookman, speaking on Cookman today, bring excitement because there are already built-in rivalries, you know, in our league with both of those schools. And so when you start talking about built-in rivalries and you start talking about games that can impact over 20,000 people in a stadium and even 30 to 50,000. You start talking about this league probably being outside of the Power Five, probably one of the best leagues that'll draw attendance. And when you start talking about that and you wrap that up and you start marketing and selling that, then, you know, that means that we can create another revenue stream for our league. In return, we help all the campuses. In return, should move us to a much higher platform than what we have right now.
And obviously, the Southwestern Athletic Conference would not have considered Florida A&M and or Bethune-Cookman if they were not comfortable with the fact that these two schools historically have given 110% as far as their pursuit of the academic side along with the athletic side, right?
Right. So when you lay out, you know, the criteria, obviously the financial side of where they are budget-wise as it relates to our conference, and where you're talking about academics, you know, where they stand as it relates to over the last 3 to 5 years, because all historical black colleges had challenges at one point as it relates to the APR when it was introduced.
Right.
And so they certainly hold their own and headed in the right direction. And so they checked all the boxes, and I believe that's the reason why you've seen the ADs vote on it and the presidents move on it pretty quickly.
Now, obviously, Roman, we want Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman to feel welcome in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. But this also kind of means now that we've got to step up our game. All the member institutions before FAM and Bethune joined, we don't want them coming to Mumford Stadium and Florida A&M bringing a bigger crowd than we have. We got to step up our game now, right?
Right. So you know how we welcome them in. We welcome them with open arms when they walk in here and they see 20-plus thousand people in Mumford Stadium.
Right.
That's how you welcome them in.
That's
and
it.
So, you know, we want to make sure that we only have a limited number of tickets where we can send to them to even sell. And so their outcome is to come in and tailgate with us and enjoy the environment, because we hope to fill our own stadium.
Yeah.
And certainly saying that brings, you know, to some of the things that we're doing with COVID right now, that we hope to stabilize it from this point going forward, because we think we'll have great attendance. So we're trying to set up an outside zone where you can come in, and we got big screens up and watch the games as well. And so COVID making us do those things, because we're going to have a limited number of fans that can get in, but that was definitely one of the things that we were looking forward to setting up for, you know, going forward for our future games.
So I guess it's safe to say that we will do the typical Louisiana thing when folks come to visit from FAM and Bethune-Cookman. We're going to feed them, we're going to show them a good time, and then come game time, we're going to try to beat them like a redhead stepchild, right?
Oh, no question about it. First of all, we're going to try to fill our own stadium up when we feed them and tell them, come on, come in the game, and they can't get in. No more tickets.
Roman Banks, Athletic Director for Southern University. I know you got another commitment. Thank you for the time, my friend.
Yes, sir. Look forward to speaking with you again.
Yes, sir.
Go Jags.
Go Jags. It is a very welcomed addition, not only from a member institution standpoint, but also because of the balance that it brings to the conference, meaning we will have the same number of teams in the East Division, same number in the West, so that's going to be a whole lot easier for scheduling purposes, for championship purposes, and things of that nature. And, of course, as Roman said, it will give us member institutions a much greater presence in the state of Florida. And as any football fan knows, when you're talking about Louisiana, Texas, Florida, nothing against Alabama, Arkansas, and Mississippi, but it's a hotbed for athletics and for upper echelon athletes. And it is something that is going to pay a whole lot of dividends all across the board. So again, a very warm Southwestern Athletic Conference welcome again to Florida A&M and now to Bethune-Cookman. And of course, all the things you've heard about Louisiana are true. We want you to come down, bring that disposable income. We want to feed you. We're going to show you a good time. But once the clock starts on whatever it is, baseball, basketball, football, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever, we're going to welcome you with open arms, and now you can line up and take that beating that we've been waiting to hand out to you for quite some time now. And I mean that in the kindest and most loving way possible. We are coming up on our bottom of the hour break in hour one. Still a lot of ground that we're going to cover today, not the least of which are some things that you need to know about to keep you and yours safe, and some things that you need to seriously consider if you are one of those that's concerned about the direction that our country is headed in. All of that is still to come on our Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. And of course, don't forget, the Exiles will be same bat time, same bat station, same bat location tomorrow and Thursday, yours truly, Monday and Wednesday. And we've got a new edition now. The ladies are taking center stage. My very good friend, and hopefully they will be yours as well, Betsy Barnes and Dr. K. Solar with Rocket Right are now featured on the Pelican as well. We'll be telling you more about that in the days and the weeks to come, but you'll know all about it because you'll tune in and check them out. Bottom of the hour break for hour one. We get it done and we'll roll on with more of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Welcome back to hour second half of hour one of this Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. For those of you that have kids in school, obviously with all that we've gone through now and are continuing to go through with COVID-19, looking down the road to fall and the reopening of school is something that a lot of you are keeping your eyes very closely upon. The Louisiana Department of Education this past week, Thursday, as a matter of fact, released guidance pertaining to the reopening of grades K through 12 across the state. This guidance, the list that was released last Thursday, is brought about as the result of a compilation of things. The Louisiana Department of Health, the Resilient Louisiana Commission, and the Louisiana Department of Education all combining their resources to come up with guidelines, quote unquote, for the reopening of grades K through 12. At the end of the day, ultimately, each separate school district will decide how the schools are going to operate. The guidelines, and again, we stress these are guidelines only. These guidelines suggest that school districts look at 3 possible reopening scenarios. There is the traditional school model where kids get on a bus, most of them, transport them to the school, X amount in a class, maximum number that teachers can handle and still continue the learning process. There is, of course, distance and remote learning that we all watched kick in as COVID-19 took hold here in Louisiana and the United States of America, if not the world for that matter. Then there is a hybrid that will be some combination thereof, including on-location learning and distance and remote learning. Obviously, with the situation continuing to be as fluid as it is right now, it's impossible to say exactly which of the 3 scenarios, traditional, distance, or the hybrid of the 2, is going to be the model that we use for the entire school year starting in the fall. It is something that will probably be fluid. Don't be surprised, parents, if you start out going back in one particular model, and after we get kids back together, parents and teachers and staff and the whole 9, and we start to see a surge in cases, that we may have to resort to another model. It is just something that we're going to have to deal with on the fly as we make our way through all of this. One of the things that is particularly going to be potentially troublesome is the transportation issue. Obviously, when you're talking public schools, in many particular school districts, getting kids to and from school is a major point of concern. And when you are talking kids in close proximity to one another on a school bus, then there are certain things that have to be taken into consideration in that regard. The Louisiana Department of Education is also partnering with Children's Hospital in New Orleans to sponsor a hotline as well as a regular town hall webinar for educators. It seems as though it's a ways off, but it will be here before you know it. So now is the time, obviously, for you to start paying particularly close attention to what the elected leadership in your child's particular school district is entertaining as far as K through 12 this fall. When you're talking about 1,600 plus schools, there are going to be differences in operational protocols. What may work for EBR may not necessarily work for Livingston, which may not necessarily work for Tangipahoa, which may not necessarily work for Orleans. So at this juncture, looking at the state overall is one thing, but recommendations from the state and protocols from the state may not necessarily line up with the district, the concerns they have, and what's best for the district where your child is enrolled. So obviously, for the districts that allow you to take part in that decision-making process, it is certainly within your best interest, not to mention the best interest of your child, to take part at every opportunity in making sure that the process goes as smoothly as possible. It is also being suggested by the Louisiana Department of Education that adults and students, 3rd grade and up, wear masks where possible to the maximum extent. Now, obviously, there are going to be some circumstances where children wearing masks is just not going to be prudent. When you're talking about 3rd grade and under, try telling a 2nd grader that you need to keep that mask on all day, and we need to change it every so many hours. It's just not going to work. So in that particular case, making sure that everything on the periphery of that is adhered to is probably going to be the best case scenario. I got to tip my hat to Cade Brumley, the new superintendent, because that is going to be a monumental job. It's think of it this way. When you're talking 1st graders, 2nd graders, you know how tough it is to get them, as rambunctious as they are, once they get rolling, to keep that shirt tail tucked in. You know how tough it is getting them to keep the shirt buttoned. It's just a part of being a kid. Now you throw wearing a mask into all of this, and now you have a recipe for the dog chasing its tail. It is going to be something that is going to take some getting used to. And you can help your child, you can help your child's teachers, and you can help the administration and staff of your child's school if you start getting them in that mindset and practicing these things now. We don't want it to be culture shock for the kids. And at the end of the day, at least for the foreseeable future, it's going to be a different reality. And the sooner we get accustomed to it, the sooner we get acclimated to it, the better off we're all going to be in the long run. It is something that's coming in some form or fashion sooner or later. So the ounce of prevention certainly worth more than the pound of cure. And as we start witnessing the rise in cases, particularly in southern states and western states, you know that the fluidity of this whole situation is totally up in the air. And I say that simply to say, the more that we can do now, the better off it's going to be for when we get through this hot, miserable, muggy summer and start entertaining K through 12 reopening in the fall. I'm sure you're abreast of the news. You know that bars have now been closed again in the state of Texas. Florida looking to close their beaches on the July 4th weekend because, again, people have not conducted themselves as best as they could. So hopefully we will all realize this and govern ourselves accordingly so that the kids for the fall of 2020 will not find themselves going through what the kids in 2019 went through. It's just one more thing that we're going to have to deal with. But quite frankly, we should all be used to this by now. This is not our first rodeo with COVID-19 and doing things to protect ourselves, our loved ones, our kids, and the rest of the general public. It's gotten to be, or at least it should be for most of us, old hat by now. And I know what you're thinking. Clarence, if it's old hat, then why are we seeing this resurgence in cases? Why aren't people still doing what they need to do to protect themselves and the rest of the public? Only those folks can answer that question for you. But let's be honest here. The distance learning model is great for what it is, but at the end of the day, if you start going back to work, then it doesn't become a realistic alternative for educating your kids. And America, in recent memory, has fallen behind the rest of the industrialized world as far as the level of education that our kids are getting. We can't afford too much more of this. And when all is said and done, this is our future that we're talking about here. So hopefully, the majority of us will do what needs to be done, and we can go about the business of educating our kids and the future in the future. Pardon the double entendre there. Final break of hour one is breathing down our necks. We will get that out of the way, and we'll continue on with more of our Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, right here where you've got it, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Perfita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back as we make our way toward wrapping up hour one of our Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. We're going to be adding a couple of quick housekeeping things. We will be adding a new show to the lineup, and you can't accuse us of being chauvinistic. I always talk about the fact that Pelican Broadcasting is to be applauded, because those of you familiar with Pelican know that they made their bones, Alan will appreciate that, they made their bones as a sports station. But in recent memory, they have expanded the program immensely now, to the point where a lot of Louisiana used to be Louisiana guys talking to Louisiana folk about things affecting Louisianians. Well, starting this week, we will be launching a new show with them women. as Marty is fond of saying, two dear friends of mine, Betsy Barnes and Dr. Kay Solar, will be launching Rocket Right on the Pelican. And I know I don't have to say it, but I'll say it just for the sake of saying that I said it. I know you'll make them welcome, and you will give them the opportunity to share some great information with you from some Louisiana folks talking with other Louisiana folks. So keep an eye out for that. Also, don't forget, July 15th, our numbers on your channel guide will change. Gramercy, Lutcher, New Orleans, Lafayette, the Acadiana area, EBR. There you go. Who says Allen is not on his job? Right there. The new numbers that you can look for on your cable guide. We just don't want you to be caught off guard. We appreciate and hold in such high esteem the fact that you watch. And we don't want you panicking on July 15th saying, where's my station? Where's my show? What the hell happened to Clarence? You know, this way you will be well aware long before the change happens. So you can put that in your mind and be prepared for July 15th. Now, it's not just changing the numbers. There's a benefit to all of this. Great new cleaner signal, high def, all across the board. So something to look forward to as we make our way through July 15th, and hopefully you will be prepared for it when it all happens. Got to tip our hat, by the way. Announcement coming out from Southern University's Agricultural Research and Extension Center, announcing recently that Southern University will unveil a line of THC-based medical marijuana products that they will be available for sale all across the state of Louisiana. Southern University is one of only 2 license holders in the state of Louisiana that are authorized to grow medical marijuana. Now, for those of you that don't know, you've probably seen a whole line of THC-based products, and it has nothing to do with people getting high, okay? This is strictly medicinal in nature. You've seen the explosion of cannabis products all across the country. You've seen it in all segments of society, and Southern University will be the first among HBCUs, white people, historically black colleges and universities. Clarence, you're always throwing them acronyms at me, man. I can't keep up with all of this stuff. Well, that's why I'm here. SU will be the first HBCU to offer a line of THC and CBD medical marijuana products across Louisiana. It is something that was made possible by the Louisiana legislature, and after one little initial hiccup early on, the university has gone full speed ahead and are looking now to launch a product line in the very near future. The 2018, the Agriculture Improvement Act, which is what allowed hemp-derived CBD to be sold in all 50 states, is what made all of this possible. Oh, and by the way, tip of the hat to HERA, Holistic Healthcare, who is partnering with Southern University to distribute the products in pharmacies across Louisiana. Now, keep in mind that as important a development as this is, you will not be able to walk into just any pharmacy and request the products. There are only 10 licensed pharmacies that will sell the products at a time. So far, the pharmacies include one in New Orleans on Chapatula Street, that's H&W Drugstore. Capital Wellness Solutions for folks here in Baton Rouge on Picardy. I wonder if they knew this ahead of time. The Green Leaf Dispensary in Houma on Park Avenue. The Apothecary Shop on Gilboa Road for our friends in Lafayette, Medicis on Imperial Boulevard in Lake Charles, the Medicine Cabinet Pharmacy on Bolton Avenue in Alexandria for the folks in Sinlock, Hope Pharmacy in Shreveport, Delta Medmar in West Monroe, and Willow Pharmacy in Madisonville. So they're spread out all around the state. And it's good to see our very own Southern University getting into this market, and not only from a revenue stream standpoint, but also helping people that need these products. There has been, and I'll leave to you guys and girls to decide whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but there has been in recent memory more of a willingness in Western nations to look more seriously at natural remedies to all the ailments that we face. The folks over in the Far East, they've been doing it for years. And, you know, you can decide for yourself whether, well, Clarence, the problem is big pharma, the pharmaceutical companies, they want to keep us hooked on stuff, and they want to make this stuff and manufacture stuff, and they don't really care about us. That's why they've been fighting this all this time. I will leave that to you to decide the validity one way or another. But when all is said and done, a lot of people are becoming more and more acclimated to and more willing to accept the benefits that nature offers us, as opposed to something that is manufactured in a lab. If you happen to fall into that category, well, number one, I know you've been rejoicing that you will be able to get relief for whatever the ailment is that is bothering you, and do it with a natural product. But now, on top of all of that, you will get that relief from a natural product that is grown, produced, and manufactured for sale by a Louisiana institution. It is something that, and I know we can compile a long list of things that we can complain about the Louisiana legislature, but I'm one of those guys that believes in giving credit where credit's due, and they got this one right. And fortunately, we were able to navigate all the pitfalls involved, expedite the process, and it will be Louisianians that will be the beneficiaries of their work at the legislature and, of course, the work at Southern University along with their partners in that particular endeavor. So be on the lookout for it. We will make an effort to get some folks from Southern University on the show to talk about this monumental development and what it will mean for individuals that are suffering from ailments and have been fighting that battle, trying to get the right to use natural remedies for whatever it is that ails them. You talk about folks that are really raving about CBD oil and the benefits that they receive from this, and it gives you hope for the future that those of us fighting ailments will be able now to find some relief and don't have to worry about the effects that come from artificially manufactured pharmaceuticals. There is something to be said about God in His infinite wisdom blessing us with an ecological system that provides us naturally with ways to cure the things that ail us. And it is only our shortcomings over the years that has led to us not implementing those things in our lives. So for those that will benefit, I'm certainly happy for you. And certainly I'm happy that you will be able to get some relief. And as you are reading the label, the contents of whatever the product is that you're using, you will see on there, grown, manufactured, produced by Southern University in Baton Rouge. Tip of the hat to all involved. We need to get our top of the hour break out of the way, but still to come is hour 2 of today's edition of the Clarence Buggs Show. Going to spend some time with Roger Cador, spend some time with Chief Murphy Paul, the chief of the Baton Rouge Police Department, and talk about something also the mainstream media is not going to tell you about. That's next on the Clarence Buggs Show. Stay close.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Some big changes are coming to the Pelican and Cox Cable. July 15th, our numbers are changing. We're easier to find and we're in high def. New Orleans, Gramercy, Lutcher, Acadiana, Patterson, Baton Rouge, new numbers coming and a brand new signal. It all happens July 15th on Cox Cable. Do your buddy Clarence a favor, will you? Get all the details by checking your local guide.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Welcome back as we start hour 2 of our Monday edition of the Clarence Buggs Show. If you are just joining us, first of all, shame on you. Where have you been all morning? Second, you can catch the show in its entirety, the replay each night, Monday and Wednesday night from 10 p.m. Until 12 midnight. So if you don't have to be up especially early tomorrow morning, well, you can catch the show in its entirety later tonight. Good news in the sporting world. Major League Baseball last week announcing they have reached an agreement with the MLBPA, Major League Baseball Players Association, for a 60-game season. And joining us to talk about this is our go-to guy for a lot of things sports, Roger Cador, coaching legend. How are you, my friend?
Hello, Clarence. How are you this morning?
I am well, Coach. Thank you for asking. Did you think we were going to have baseball this year, Coach?
Well, before we get to that, I've been remiss by not mentioning some key people who are part of the staff over there, Kate and Jonathan, who make this thing. Without them, you couldn't have this show, Clarence.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, I mentioned Marty and Alan. They're the key players in the truck. that keeps you on the air. So
Yes, sir.
I want to give a shout out to him.
Yes, sir.
Make it happen. Keep your hands off of Alan over there.
She has really stepped up her game and has stepped up to the plate. So, did you think this was going to happen, that we're going to have baseball this year, Coach?
That was, was a touch and go type situation. I sort of felt if that virus could be controlled, that they could have baseball, and everything is predicated on the virus, Clarence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to, sometimes people, they look at money and what have been the norm.
Right.
We have been, this time of year, normally we have baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we've never had this virus before.
Uh-huh.
So this is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of situation. So it's disrupted everything.
Yeah.
And I am in touch with a lot of people at the Major League Baseball level, and they are saying the same thing. They're concerned about their families.
Mm-hmm.
They certainly don't want to bring them to a situation where you're in a community situation, one or two people get it, and it spreads like wildfire. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You look at the fact that just here in Baton Rouge, when LSU's team football reported back to campus, we looked up, and next thing you know, there's 30 players on the team have tested positive. What sort of surge, if any, do you think we can expect among players in Major League Baseball, and what's going to be, quote, acceptable in that regard?
Well, I really don't know, to be honest with you, what to be expected, because, again, if they can come up with some kind of thing that they can give players,
Mm-hmm.
that will help. I really think it will help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm really caught on the outside looking in with this because of my lack of medical experience. So
Right.
I'm on the outside looking in.
Right. So what do you think it would be like for the players playing without fans in the stands? From an athlete standpoint, what's that going to be like?
Well, I think that's going to be tough. It's been used to, sort of like the virus. That's not what they're used to doing. You got this?
Right.
And when I looked at what happened in Korea, they'll probably have some music playing, and you know what I'm saying, trying to create something if something happens.
Right.
With the video, you got me? If they really get creative, they may have some girls dancing on the dugout. I don't know if we would do that here in America.
Right.
But I know it's big in the Caribbean, where they have young ladies dancing on the dugout to create some excitement. So I really don't know. They're going to have to come up with something to try and amuse the players because they're not accustomed to not having fans in the stand.
What?
And to a large extent, a lot of the players, their attention span, they're ADD. They're ADD, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to lose their focus, so let's see what happens. I don't want to get off the track, Clarence, before I forget it. I want to mention something that probably has slipped under us or above us. Is this past week they celebrated the 100th year of the Negro League.
Yes.
When it was formed in 1920.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't want that to pass.
Right.
Without being mentioned, because the Negro League played such an integral part in the building of America.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that they were one of the first people to tear down the walls with racism and integration. They brought integration, and they let people know that black ball players could play and that black people were good people. So I really think they did a lot of good things with what they took. They took a lot of abuse to make things better.
Have we done a good enough job presenting the history of the Negro Leagues to America and what it's meant to us as a people and a nation?
No, we haven't, because again, remember, black history hasn't been something that the United States took a big interest in promoting. telling about all the good things that people did. Now, I tried to do it when I was coaching my Negro League uniform, playing the game every year to try and keep the history going, because I thought it was important enough to do it, because it had helped so many people. And I really have to say the white people in Baton Rouge took a tremendous interest in coming by, taking pictures, asking questions about the uniform, wanting to know all of the good things that these players and the uniforms represented.
Right. That's got to be, on one hand, encouraging, seeing the response that you were able to generate during your years of coaching with the whole Negro League uniforms and the history therein. But it's got to be kind of bittersweet for you when you look at our community, the African American community, and how we no longer play baseball to anywhere near the level that we used to. It's kind of bittersweet, isn't it?
It's sort of bittersweet, but I think baseball has did something else, Clarence.
What's that?
Where it's not as many blacks playing baseball, but they have many more blacks are having opportunity to do other things. I think it helped them to branch out. We have more lawyers, doctors, physics, scientists, and politicians, and people into the space industry. I just think that baseball, because of what happened with the Negro League, we have been able to branch out. Remember, the Negro League was unique in that the players who played in the New York League were mainly college players. They went to college.
Right.
That wasn't the same with the Major League. They were all high school kids to a large extent. But the players who played in the Negro League were mainly 80 to 90% collegiate players.
Wow.
And what happened, the reason it was that way, Clarence, when they had spring training, the Negro League usually had spring training on a collegiate campus. And that's how they recruited college ball players. And so when the season was over, they went back to college and got their degree. So that's a little part of history that people don't know about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Speaking of the collegiate scene, let's shift gears for just a moment. Bethune-Cookman, we call this one newest member of the SWAC. Kind of a win-win for both Bethune-Cookman and the SWAC, right?
Yes. I think it's a big win for both of them. You know, I got a text from the commissioner of this SWAC, Charles McClellan. Once Bethune-Cookman came in, and he said, we got a really good situation there because Bethune-Cookman not only brings some rich history, but it brings one of the better baseball programs, which now make baseball really a quality sport in the SWAC.
Of course.
So he's excited about that end of it because in his heart, he's a baseball man, even though he has to look at all the 14, 15 sports. But he does have a love for baseball.
Now, this also is going to mean that the rest of us in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, outside of Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman, we're going to have to get used to some new things because it's almost a situation where you're going to have to restructure the conference as far as the divisions, the East and West are concerned. They're not going to be the same as they've been as long as most of us can remember, right?
Yeah, it won't change much for the spring sports. The Olympic sports will probably not see a lot of Bethune-Cookman and FAMU. You're going to see them in football and basketball, men and women basketball, okay?
Right.
And a little maybe in baseball. But you're not going to see a great deal. I think once the alignment will go something like this. Valley goes to the west, and all the other one goes to the east. Alcorn, Jackson, the two Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Cookman, and MM. They stay in the east, and then the other ones stay in the west. So there won't be a lot of difference there. But I think that with the football and the basketball is where they have to make adjustments and get used to seeing the two other universities come in.
Finally, Coach, on a different note, speaking of football, in the NFL, Cam Newton signing with the Patriots this weekend. Did that catch you off guard? Were you expecting that one, Cam, in New England?
Well, you know, one thing about Belichick, they want to win.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Newton have taken the team to the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
And, and the thing is, a player hurt his foot, he may not be able to run as much, but he still have the wear to take him there because he's a good athlete, and he's taking the team to the Super Bowl. I think you have to, one thing at that level that I learned at the professional level, these people, when you have a resume, if you have a resume, people want to make sure that they try to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always one who has proven something against one that haven't. Which one you want to take a chance on?
Right.
So you'd rather take a chance on someone who's proven they can take you there.
As always, Peter, we appreciate the time, my friend, and stay safe out there, Roger.
Clarence, one more thing. The baseball season opened up July 23rd. The Yankees versus the National in the city, Washington, D.C.
Uh-huh.
And they're going to have Garrett Cole versus Max Scherzer. What a great opening game.
Talk about. Go Yankees.
I wanted to throw that in there.
Yes, sir. Take care of yourself, Coach. We'll talk with you soon, my friend.
All right, take care. Bye.
Go Yankees. That's all I need to say. Nothing else needs to be said. We need to get our first break of this hour 2, out of the way, and we will continue on with our Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, right where you've got it, here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Says here that Eric Gaylord is back. Now, where's he been?
Well, I was told he had joined the CIA, trying to stop the Russians from stealing our election.
Vodka. Na zdrowie.
Na zdrowie.
Free elections.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, B.R.P.D and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to hour 2 of our Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. If you are just joining us, here's hoping that your weekend was an absolutely fabulous one. If not, well, as we say each and every Monday, sometimes twice a day. If you did not, good Lord willing, you will still be here when the next one rolls our way, and you will have the opportunity to try it all over again. I watched with disdainment and horror this weekend as protests continued across our country, focusing on racial injustices and perceived or real racism in all parts of our country. And you have heard me say on more than one occasion that in this age of the 24-hour news cycle, in this age of social media, the digital age, if you will, that if you're not very, very careful, there are forces at work here that are designed to lead you astray and are designed specifically to keep you ignorant and focusing on the wrong thing. My dear friend Marty, floor producer extraordinaire, is fond of saying, well, you know, it's the old sleight of hand. Oh, look over here. Look at this problem. Look at this problem. Don't worry about this one over here. Look over here, over here. All the while distracting you from the real things that you should be concerned about. How can you tell if the places you go to for news are truly concerned about you and are giving you the real scoop on the things that affect you most as a group of people? You would think, if you go back over the last month, you would think the mainstream media has this new awakening, a new, what's the phrase I'm looking for? A new crisis of confidence when it comes to African Americans and the things they face daily in this country. If the places you go to get your news, to find out what's happening in America, and particularly these days, if you happen to be African American, if the places you rely on to give you your information did not tell you that just this past weekend, in one city alone, the city of Chicago, 61 people were shot, 14 of them died, and 3 of them were children, all African American. If they did not tell you that, you need to find another source for your news. If you are just hearing for the first time that 61 folks just this weekend were shot in a Democrat-controlled city. Chicago has been run by Democrats for at least 50 years running now. But if the place you go to for your news did not tell you that in a city run by Democrats for the last 50 years with, did I mention, the toughest gun laws in America, if they didn't tell you 61 people were shot, 14 died, and 3 of them were children, you need to find another source of news. The weekend before that, the weekend before that, the weekend before that, add them all up, and you are close to 200, well, actually, close to 300 shot and close to 100 fatalities. Now, for those of you that don't know this, 2 things you should ask yourself. Number 1, why isn't the place where I go to get my news telling me this? I mean, after all, Black Lives Matter, right? So why aren't they telling me this? Number two, if you are now awakened, woke, as the vernacular of the streets has become, why aren't we marching and protesting this? To my knowledge, and I'm sure if it had happened, we'd know about it. Not a single one of the 61 people in Chicago that were shot, not a single one of the 14 who died, or the 3 children who died, none of them were killed by police. Is that the reason why the place where you go for your news is not reporting this? At the end of the day, y'all, well, there's no other way for me to say it. I am far more concerned as an African American man that if you open the paper on any given day and see the headline, well, people don't really read newspapers anymore, but if you pull out your mobile device and go to, your favorite website, and you see longtime talk show host murdered. If you see that, the odds that it's a white guy, some random white boy at a red light that shot and killed Clarence, the odds, you probably have a better shot at winning the lottery than yours truly being shot and killed by some random white boy. I'm just telling it like it is, y'all. And at the end of the day, when thousands upon thousands every year of people that look like me are being murdered by other people who look like me, and the people who look like me are only protesting about those killed that don't, Marty, look like me. Houston, we got a problem. We got a major, major problem. Ironically, and maybe, just maybe, I'm just saying, maybe this has a little something to do with it, but the preponderance, the majority, the overwhelming number of the cities where black folk are being slaughtered by other black folk are cities that are run by Democrats. Yeah, I said it. Don't believe it? Check the numbers. Don't believe it? Find some real news outlets to subscribe to. Don't take my word for it. I challenge you. Find out for yourselves. At the end of the day, y'all, dead is dead. I don't care who caused it. Dead is dead. And I'm the kind of guy that believes in perspective. Yeah, it's tragic anytime someone dies at the hands of law enforcement. But it's just as tragic when 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 young black men every single year are murdered by other young black men, and ain't nobody marching, ain't nobody protesting. It's business as usual. I got a problem with that. And the sooner we get off of our you-know-what and come back to reality, the better off we're going to be. You've got to ask yourself something. Why does the media steer me everywhere other than the main course of homicide for young black men? Do y'all know 40% of baby makers ages 19 to 34 in the black community, our future. 40% of us annually are killed by other of us. When you take the numbers, young African Americans, unarmed, killed by police, amounts to about 0.00014%. 14 1,000ths of 1%. But the other 7,999, not a peep. If you are truly, honestly concerned about the state of the African American community in this country, you should be disgusted, you should be appalled, and quite frankly, you ought to be pissed. Because if starting today, not another black man was ever killed by police, at the end of this year, there will still be thousands of us dead. And we will be dead at the hands of our brothers. If that's not worth getting upset about, if that's not worth protesting about, I don't know what is. And maybe not only is the media leading you by your nose, but you're running from reality. Somebody needs to say it. And I just did. We got to get a break out of the way. Whew, that felt kind of good, Marty. That felt kind of, it's time that somebody tells the truth about this. And again, don't take my word for it. Do your own homework. Do your own research. The numbers are what the numbers are. And I dare the media, mainstream, to argue the point. Maybe it's time we start holding them accountable like we want to hold the po-po. Just saying. Just saying. We'll get this break out of the way and we continue on with the Monday edition of the Clarence Bugg Show right here on the Pelican. Stay close.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Perfita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here. Some big changes are coming to the Pelican and Cox Cable. July 15th, our numbers are changing. We're easier to find and we're in high def. New Orleans, Gramercy, Lutcher, Acadiana, Patterson, Baton Rouge, new numbers coming, and a brand new signal. It all happens July 15th on Cox Cable. Do your buddy Clarence a favor, will you? Get all the details by checking your local guide.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Welcome back. No, Marty didn't call the police on me. Marty did not call the police on me after that last rant. He was already scheduled to be on the show today. It is a pleasure, an honor, a privilege to welcome to the show today the Chief of the Baton Rouge Police Department, everybody's good friend, Chief Murphy Paul. Chief, how are you, big fella?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed today. I'm blessed. Glad to be here and have a conversation.
How's everything holding up for you? COVID-19 and all this, the social justice and all of this. How you holding up?
We're holding up pretty good. This is unprecedented times.
Yeah.
So, it's important for us to remain positive and stay focused and with the understanding that we will get through this, just like we've gotten through so much adversity over the years as a police department.
I have always been fond of saying, Chief, that we as Americans, we do our best work when our backs are up against the wall.
Yeah. Attitude is a choice. How we respond to adversity is more important than the hardship itself.
And it says more about us than the hardship itself does, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does.
Yeah. I got to tell you, knowing what you all deal with on a day-to-day basis, understanding, and I will be the first to say it, I ain't got the fortitude for it. I'm just being honest here.
Yeah.
What you all do every single day, outgunned, underpaid, underappreciated, and you still strap it on and do what you do. You still honor the oath to protect and serve. Because y'all have always been here for me. But with all that's been going on lately, man, it's up here now. And I can only hope that the rank and file, because of everything going on right now, has not allowed that to steer them from. Example, just today I heard a stat that since all of this social upheaval has started, in New York City, in the NYPD, over 300 officers have now put in for retirement. And I've got to imagine that it's because of feeling underappreciated, being outgunned on the streets, being vilified by the actions of a few bad, casting that negative dispersion on everyone in blue. I've got to feel that this has the bulk to do with that. Now, that being said, how does Murphy Paul stop himself from feeling that way and getting up just like you did this morning, putting it on and going out to honor the oath to protect and serve? How do you do it?
So you said you get up, and I think that's where it starts at. How you get up in the morning. I have a routine. Every day I get up, I have my gospel music going while I'm brushing my teeth, washing my face.
Yes, sir.
I get my quote of the day from John Maxwell. I read that. I have a young lady who works at the state police cafeteria. Every day she sends me a spiritual quote. She's been doing it ever since I was a state trooper. And every morning I get up, she sends me a quote. Right. A daily spiritual from the Bible. So that's how I start my day off.
Okay.
Every day. And look, I am aware of what's going on in the country and the morale that law enforcement and its impact is having, because social media makes the world so small.
Yeah.
But I try to remind myself and my senior command staff when I have our weekly meetings. We start our meetings off with prayer. And, you know, I try to say, you know, that's not happening in Baton Rouge. A lot of things that's happening around the country is not happening in Baton Rouge.
Right.
And we have to be mindful of that, because I believe the great work that we've been doing here in Baton Rouge and the love that this community has for our police officers. And, you know, when I hear you say guys are retiring early, I get that. You know, if you have the option where you can leave early and draw a check because you can't take the stress and anxiety that's going on with these unprecedented times, you know, I respect that.
Yeah.
But for those officers who are just leaving departments because of what we're going through, what I say is, I'm glad they realize they're not public servants. And let me tell you what I mean by that. The good officers never leave.
Wow.
See, the good officers never leave because they know it's a calling.
Right.
It's the same reason the teachers are underpaid, but the good teachers never leave.
Never leave.
Because they know it's a calling. So those police officers who decide that they want a different career choice because of what's going on, I say well wishes to them. You know, maybe it took this for you to realize that your heart just isn't in this line of work.
Yeah.
So let us go out there and hire some young folks who are public servants and who understand what that really means.
It's kind of like if you get up and go to whatever your job is in your chosen profession, and the boss comes in and just lays into people. Some folks ain't been doing this, and our company is not about that, and we got to do better. If you're not in that number, you kind of say to yourself, well, he ain't talking about me. I can ride this one. I don't have to worry about it because he's not talking. I do my job. I go above and beyond. And I'm not going to let his anger cast a negative dispersion on me, because every single day, my purpose in being here is to do my job. As Roger Cador is fond of saying, your job is to do your job. And at the end of the day, if you can't look in the mirror and say, well, I did my job, then the problem is you and not everybody else.
There's so much toxicity that's going on in America right now on social media, because the good stories, they don't trend. And we have to be mindful of that. And, you know, when I have the polls to show that the residents of this community love the Baton Rouge Police Department, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I hear it every day when I'm out there. I get the emails from, residents who understand what we're going through. And, you know, I want our officers to understand that, and I want the community to understand that. Yes, there are a few people out there that may not necessarily like us or may not necessarily have a favorable opinion of the police department. Yes, there are some individuals out there who are going through a lot of hurt and pain, and what happened 1,000 miles away in Minneapolis agitated a scar here and in cities all across America and around the world, for that matter, why we see this. And look, I understand that. I understand that. I think that, you know, I respect that it comes with the territory in terms of what's going on in America, because I also understand the role that we have played as a law enforcement profession in building those barriers in community police relations. So I take a holistic view on it and understand that I respect everybody's right to protest, and we're going to make sure that they're able to do that in a safe and responsible way. And we're not going to put a timeline on their pain, because everyone grieves different. But at the same time, we're going to do our part to make sure that we, as a law enforcement agency here in Baton Rouge, that the community understand that when it comes to those reform efforts, when it comes to everything that they're saying should be done on the state and federal level, we were already doing it. We already started those steps before that morally bankrupt wannabe police officer did what he did in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I just finished ranting in the last segment. As a man of color, I am perturbed disturbed, disgusted, insulted when I see the amount of vitriol hurled law enforcement's way, while completely ignoring the fact that we have a crisis in the black community. Our future, 19 to 34 years old, the baby-making folk, 40% of us in the black community, 19 to 34 years of age, are killed by other young black men. But you don't see anywhere near the attention paid to that. Is what we're seeing now because you're an easy target. We hold you to a higher level, so whenever something does go wrong, the media and everyone else tends to magnify that. It takes a brutally honest person to call together the leadership of the black community and say, y'all got a problem. We got to fix this. What do you need? Or if I've given you this, well, aren't you working on that? Are y'all just easy targets?
Well, you know,
speak honest with me. This bugs you're talking to, Chief.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand your frustration in terms of that. You know, I don't have the convenience to just police one demographic of the city. So I'm respectful of everybody's.
But now, let's be honest. Hold that thought. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
When the majority of calls overwhelmingly are for one demographic, we got to be honest about that and address that, Chief.
Yeah, you're speaking of violent crime.
Yeah.
You're speaking of the black-on-black crime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, we have those conversations. I mean, we've said that from day one. I think if you go back and you look at my conversations that I've had since being in this position, when it comes to homicides, most of our homicides, I believe, 80% the last couple of years. A little lower than that. Probably the victims were African American males, and those suspects, those that we can solve, the perpetrator in those particular instances were African American males. So I think,
and nationwide is 93%.
I've been very outspoken about that, and about my desire to work with the community to help us get that. I think one of the reasons, and we're starting to see wins in working with the community in that area, when you look at our clearance rates on homicides, you know, we have more cooperation going on right now. We've been averaging over 60% in homicides this year. At one point, we were close to 70% clearance rates. That does not happen without the community getting involved, picking up the phone, calling us, and letting us know who those perpetrators of those crimes are.
And for the record, we're not satisfied with 70%.
Absolutely not. No, one homicide is far too many. But I think when you start looking at the bigger picture and we begin to talk about how we got here, right? What are the challenges that have gotten us here?
Right.
And not just here. We see the same thing in New Orleans, in Chicago, and other places. Why is it that we don't have the cooperation that we think the community should be giving us when it comes to violent crime, particular black-on-black crime in America? And I think when you start looking at, from a historical perspective, on issues that have created those barriers in community police relations, I think we can contribute some of that to this lack of trust with black communities and police officers. So as we begin to look at how we can build trust and legitimacy, which we have been doing, I think you're going to start seeing those walls getting thinner and thinner until we can break it through. But it's going to take time. That is a cultural issue on getting the community to trust us enough where when they give us that information, they know they're protected and they're trusted. And I think that what's going on in America with some of the reform, look, I see it here in Baton Rouge. I believe that because we started that process, that's why we don't have what's going on in Minneapolis, in Louisville, in Atlanta, in Denver. I believe it's Colorado right now. And I have probably about 30 other cities that we can talk about. And I hope it's because they see that our police officers have been making that acknowledgement and recognizing and putting in that work so that we can continue moving forward as a community.
Can I get you to hang around for a few moments with me?
Absolutely.
I got kind of sidetracked because we had him scheduled for 11:45, but since he was here early, I said, I get to ask him a whole lot of stuff now. So we'll get our final break of today's show out of the way. We'll come back and talk some more with Chief of the B.R.P.D., Chief Murphy Paul, right here on the Clarence Buggs Show. Stay close.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, B.R.P.D and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hello. Hola. Ni hao.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back for the final 5 minutes and 48 seconds of the Monday edition of the Clarence Buggs Show. Spending some time with the Chief of the Baton Rouge Police Department, Murphy Paul. Let's shift gears, Chief. You've got a new video chat program going with officers on duty. What was the impetus for that?
Now, the video chat, you took the telephone reporting unit?
Yes.
Where you can call in and video conference. Yeah. So we started this program prior to COVID, and what we realized that one, we had officers that are on administrative duty or leave, and in the past they will be home. So my position was, if we pay you, nobody stays at home.
Right.
So we began to bring those officers back. We put them in a telephone reporting unit, and we started that process in the telephone reporting unit so that we can take a certain non-emergency calls, code 1 calls over the phone, so it won't tie up resources, which will increase response times for code 2 and code 3 calls.
Right.
So that's worked out. So then when COVID came, we wanted to do our part in social distancing.
Right.
So we created an app where you can actually log on and take a picture with your phone, and it automatically takes you to a police officer, similar to FaceTime.
Right.
So we're able to take those reports over the phone while practicing social distancing.
Awesome.
And still do a better job of moving those resources that we have out there in the field without shortages.
Speaking of programs that you had in place prior to COVID, Operation Safe Summer. For those who don't know, what's it all about and how's it progressing?
So we've had some initial success. We looked at one area of the city where we focus resources, and we saw about a 24% reduction in crime for those few weeks. So we took that in Operation Safe Summer. Unfortunately, we had a storm that came through where we had to divert resources, some potential protests that we had to direct resources to, and now we're getting back. And unfortunately, we had some upticks. But here's what we believe. We believe that there's less than 6% of the population is responsible for majority of the crime.
Okay.
We also believe that there are micro areas in the city, small corners, blocks, street blocks, repeat addresses that account for a large percentage of the violent crime calls for services. So what we're trying to do is direct resources in those specific 100 blocks, addresses at specific times to see what impact we can have. So we have seen some successes in that. Unfortunately, there's been increases in domestic violence with the corona and the stress and anxiety that's related to that. We've seen some increases in some gang activity. Homicides specifically are up about 45 to 50% right now because we had 3 this weekend, unfortunately. So we're trying to make the adjustments with that to see if there's any indicators. But if you take those out, crime is down just about in every other category with the exception of those homicides and shots fired incidents for June.
As best you can tell, Chief, how's the morale of the rank and file of the B.R.P.D. these days?
Well, it's challenging because, you know, social media makes the world so small right now. And I think every time something happens, what happened in Atlanta, you know, what's happening in other areas, the question is, I wonder what my chief would do if that happened here. So you have to have those conversations. We talk about it with our commanders. We try to push information out there to try to keep the guys' spirits lifted up. You know, prior to COVID, you know, we had challenges. You know, when we put the pay study out and our police officers learned that we make 29, 30% less than our peer agencies, that does have morale. And on top of that, you know, I will debate anybody on the work that our officers do. Crime is a socio-economic issue. And when it comes to the calls for services that we have in the city of Baton Rouge, I don't think there's any police department in the capital area that can say they respond to the number of calls for services that we have, and yet we still make less. So I think the encouragement is, if you take COVID out, we've identified funding that was going to recognize around a 16 to 20% pay increase. 16-20% of the 20 million needed. Okay,
that's a start.
Doing this, and it was the first step. But then COVID came, and because of the budget issues with the whole COVID, we cannot recognize this right now. But we're looking forward to moving forward again next year with that same budget. And recognizing those dollars. In fact, we've been having meetings on that. So we're going to get there. It's baby steps. I'm confident that we're going to get the first steps, and we're going to present another plan to get us where we need to be.
And at the end of the day, guys, girls, if you want a better police department, you want better police officers, here's a challenge. Step up, answer the call. B.R.P.D, EBRSO, Louisiana State Police, law enforcement in general, always looking for a few good men and women. My time's up. Chief, as always, thank you. But I still have just enough time left to say, you know what? You're right. Once again, today proves it. America, we're not perfect. But doggone it, for my money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you know he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Either way, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you Wednesday. God bless.